Gallup has released its latest World Happiness Report. The happiest country in the world is Finland. Meanwhile, the U.S. fell to 24th in its ranking of world's happiest countries. That is our lowest ever level. And young people under 30 are driving this downward shift. Let's talk it over with high-performance brain specialist, coach, and consultant Leigh Richardson, who's back today on the Davison Family Dentistry Newsmaker line. Leigh, welcome back to WHO Radio. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
All right, Leigh, the survey says, Gallup saying, that young people under 30 are driving this downward shift in happiness among Americans. What do you think? What's going on here?
Well, this is really concerning to me because I read something about a week ago that the 25 to 30 were the most stressed out in our society in the States. And 25 to 30, that's the prime of your life. You just got out of college, you've got the world in front of you, and they were worried about financial stability and politics. So I have a theory, Jeff.
Okay.
I think what's driving, we're seeing this in so many different ways. And my theory is that's the population that came out of the pandemic. And they were old enough to grieve and see what they were losing during the pandemic. And then they come out of it, and they're still kind of in the after effects. And I'll tell you, you mentioned Finland. Do you know Finland has been number one for like 8 straight years?
Yeah, what are those Finns up to, Leigh? Did you look this up?
Well, yeah, I kind of did. Because anytime you can come in first place 8 times in a row, man, I want to know how you did it.
Yeah.
And this feeds into my theory. It's because of the support that they offer. And, when you think about one of my sons moved to Nice, France, and Mom, it's so easy to go to go see a dentist. You don't have to wait 6 weeks. And now he does have some French citizenship because of his partner. But the Finns, they talk about how the support that's available for their society. And I think that's something that in the States we're all over the place. The level of support that you can get in so many ways depends upon your socioeconomic status.
Okay, so Leigh, let me combine your answers. I'm putting them together. So the Finns say it's all about the support. And you got young people coming out of the pandemic, and they're still grieving. Is it the isolation and the loneliness? I mean, we isolated people during the pandemic. We kind of self-isolate, too, if we're on our phones all day. Is that the whole key?
I think it is. And bingo, you hit the nail on the head. Because, a couple of years ago, our Surgeon General declared loneliness another pandemic.
Yeah.
But it's what they couldn't go to school. They had to do school online. They couldn't play sports. They couldn't be in the band. So they were in so many ways isolated. And then figured out you're going to have to get by, and they did. But now they're to a point in their life where well, what do I do next? And they are lonely. And I think the study mentioned that dining alone has a big part to do with it. And you get used to, if you're in college, you get used to just eating in your room because it's easier. You don't know anybody, and you've got work to do. It's easier just to stay in your room. And I think that whatever we can do to break the loneliness, we need to create more sense of community for everybody.
Well, and that's it, Leigh. I'm always the optimist, and when I hear the problem, I say, this is fixable, and it's fixable right now for these young people, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And I think, I come at everything from the brain. Yeah. But I think just talking about emotional mood control and regulation, and that's all what's going on in the prefrontal cortex of your brain, it depersonalizes what they're experiencing. I think everybody needs a brain health coach. But at that age, just not so much it's counseling, and there is a difference because I do both, but that brain health coach to help them understand. I mean, the brain's not fully developed until you're in your mid to late 20s. And the last part that develops is that prefrontal cortex. You need that by the time you're 13. And so to help them understand, there are things that they can do to create regulation in the brain.
Well, Leigh knows what she is talking about in this area. She's been in the ICU twice with brain injuries, and this is her passion. She is a high-performance brain specialist, a coach and consultant. She's Leigh Richardson, and I love talking to her about these issues. Leigh, thanks for talking to all of us today.